Hi, I'm Fiona Henderson. Today I'm in Western Australia, having come over here to hibernate during the COVID-19 pandemic. Today I'm going to be talking about the requirements for an overseas company to set up an Australian subsidiary. I often get inquiries from foreign businesses wanting to start up operations in Australia. There are a few things you need to know in order to get started. Whilst there are a number of different options available to set up a business in Australia, probably the most common and the most effective is to set up a wholly owned Australian subsidiary of your foreign entity. Or if you're a sole trader or in a partnership, simply to set up an Australian company. This is particularly relevant if you want to import goods and are regulated by the Therapeutic Goods Act. If you want to import goods that are regulated by the Therapeutic Goods Act, then there are a few extra things you need to know, and I will deal with them in a separate vlog. There are two relevant things that a foreign business setting up in Australia needs to have. First, the Australian company must have one director of the company who is ordinarily resident in Australia. That resident director can be anybody, an employee or a third party, such as an external accountant or a solicitor. I've been a resident director for a number of foreign corporations. That is service that I'm always happy to provide if you want someone independent from the business to be your Australian resident director. Companies in Australia only need to have one director, but as a foreign business, I recommend that you have at least one director from your business, if not more than one, so that your business controls the board. The second thing is there needs to be at least one shareholder. Where your business is a foreign corporation, then I recommend this corporation be the 100% shareholder, since there is no requirement that the shareholder have an Australian residence. Alternatively, if you are not a corporation, then it is possible to split your shareholding between the owners of the business. A company in Australia must have an initial capital. This can be as little as $1. The Australian startup costs can be financed either by capital or by a loan from the holding company. The amount does not need to be made available immediately on incorporation, but the documents which are used to establish the company need to set out the amount of the initial capital that it is intended to be put into the company. All companies in Australia must have a registered office and a principal place of business. These do not need to be at the same address. The registered office is the official address for the company and is the address on which all official documents must be served. In some circumstances in Australia, there are serious time limits imposed on a company to respond to documents served on a company's registered office. So it is important to ensure that your registered office is somewhere where any documents served there will immediately be brought to your attention. If your business is going to trade in Australia, then I recommend that the company be registered for tax purposes with an Australian business number or ABN. This will enable you to register for the goods and services tax and claim input credits if your business has sufficient turnover to require GST to be paid. Setting up a company in Australia is a very simple process and takes less than 48 hours to do once the relevant information is provided. The company register in Australia provides the full name, residential address, date of birth and place of birth of all company directors. If you have concerns about your safety, it is possible to have your address suppressed. As I've said before, depending on the nature of the company and the business that you wish to operate in Australia, there may be other requirements that need to be satisfied in order for the company's proposed business to be operational. For example, as I mentioned above, if you are importing and selling goods manufactured by your parent company, then you may need to obtain certain government approvals to import the goods. I will deal with some of these requirements in a subsequent vlog. Until then, travel well.